Good morning, everyone, and welcome to this meeting of the Strategic and Technical Planning Committee, Tuesday, the 25th of November. I'm Councillor Duncan Sarryhouse, Chair of this committee, and my Vice Chair is Dave Bolwell. The meeting is being live streamed and is available for view on the Council's website. By attending this meeting, you consent to being filmed. The Planning Committee is not a public meeting, but a meeting to which the public is invited, and all attendees must comply with the ruling of the Chair. Members of the public must not interrupt the meeting or cause undue disturbance. To support this, please switch off your mobile phones or select silent mode for the duration of the meeting. Only those who have registered to speak in accordance with the speaking protocol will be invited to address the committee for a maximum of 3 minutes. This is limited to the first 3 people objecting and the first 3 people supporting the application who have registered, along with the town or parish council and ward member. No additional materials are to be circulated to members of the committee today. We've one application to determine today. The planning officer will be invited to present the report and recommendations. Next, I will invite members of the public who've registered to speak with Democratic Services Officer before the deadline to address the committee in the following order: public against, public support, applicant agent, town parish council, and ward members. Each speaker has a maximum of 3 minutes. Following on from the registered speakers, the planning officers will have the opportunity to address any salient points they wish to clarify, and committee members will be given the opportunity to ask questions of the planning officer before moving on to their debate. At the end of the debate, we will take a vote and I will declare the decision of the committee. Can I remind members that when we go into councillor questions and debate, please state your name and ward for the benefit of the public watching and speak directly into the microphone so that we can all hear you. If anyone is using Teams, please ensure you're on mute and your device volume is set to 0. Before we begin, just a few points regarding general housekeeping. We're not expecting a fire alarm during this meeting. However, should the alarm sound, please leave the building calmly and without delay using the nearest fire exit, which is located through the main doors at the back of the chamber. Exiting at the main reception doors, the meeting will be formally adjourned at that point and will only resume once it's confirmed safe to do so. This morning's meeting is attended by myself, Councillor Sarryhouse, my Vice Chair, Councillor David Bolwell, Councillor Belinda Borden, Councillor Matt Bell, Councillor Richard Crabb, Councillor Spencer Flower, Councillor Pete Roper, welcome home, and Councillor David Taylor and Councillor David Took. Do we have apologies for those not here? Apologies received for those not in the room.
Just to confirm, we've received apologies for absence from Councillors Tony Coombs, Craig Monks and Belinda Rideout.
Thank you very much. And officers involved in today's meeting are Megan Rochester, Senior Democratic and Governance Officer, Louis Wicks, Democratic and Governance Officer Apprentice, Philip Crowther, Senior Lawyer, and Vanessa Penny, definitive map manager, not in the background today, but front and centre. Thomas Wilde is supporting, but available online if necessary. Do we have any declarations of interest, members, that we need to declare today? That's no declarations of interest. And are we content with the minutes of the 16th of October? Are you happy for me to sign those at the end of the meeting? Thank you. Now, we have some members of the public. You have a choice at this stage. You can make your representation before the officer report, or would you like to listen to the officer report first and make your representation afterwards? Thank you very much. So the general public will be making their representation after the officer report. Thank you very much. So we now move into application VG1 2024. This is land at Birchdale Road, Wimborne, and the presenting officer is Vanessa Penny. Vanessa, when you're ready.
Thank you, Chair. An application was made in July 2024 for the registration of land at Birchdale Road, Wimborne as a town or village green. This shows the location of the site on the eastern edge of Wimborne. The area of land is known locally as the Green and consists of approximately 142 square metres of well-maintained grass at the end of a residential cul-de-sac. The view looking east, looking south, a closer view looking south, looking north, a closer view looking north, a recent aerial photograph of the land showing how it relates to Birchdale Road. And zooming out, you can see the land in relation to the surrounding area and the Highland Park estate. At the time the application was made, a trigger event had occurred in relation to part of the land. A planning application to build up to 55 dwellings on the field to the east of the land was registered on the 1st of February 2024. The proposed access to the development was to be via Birchdale Road. The section of the land across the end of Birchdale Road, the strip shown here as Area B in blue, was included within the red line of the planning application. This is an extract from the planning application documents showing the red line. The planning application was subsequently refused on the 6th of June 2024, and a revised planning application within the same site was made on the 11th of April 2025 and is currently under consideration. Therefore, at the time of the Green application, the right to apply was excluded for that part of the Green shown as Area B, and Dorset Council was only able to accept the application in part for the remaining triangle area of land shown as Area A in green. There is no facility to hold an application for the registration of a green in abeyance pending a termination event. The remainder of the application, as it relates to Area A, is duly made for the purposes of the Commons Act 2006. The evidence submitted in support was assessed in relation to Area A. This application was made under Section 15(2) of the Commons Act 2006, which requires that a significant number of the inhabitants of any locality or of any neighbourhood within a locality have indulged as of right in lawful sports and pastimes on the land for a period of at least 20 years, and they continue to do so at the time of the application. I will go through the test in more detail in a moment. Firstly, though, in response to the statutory notice of the application, an objection was received from Nightingale Land, who owns the land to the east of the claimed green and has an interest in Area B via the planning application. Several concerns were raised. One, part of the land was affected by a planning application, which constituted a trigger event, and no corresponding termination event had occurred. Two, part of the land may be affected by the draft Dorset local plan, but it was unclear from the mapping included within that plan. Three, the identified neighbourhood of the Highland Park estate is not sufficiently cohesive, and the user numbers are insufficient. Four, the use of the land is insufficient to show it has been used for lawful sports and pastimes during the relevant period, and Area B is physically unsuitable for use. And finally, the strip of land at the end of Birchdale Road, Area B, is public highway, therefore use of that part of the green application site is by right, not as of right. The applicant submitted a response to the objection to say that the right to apply was not excluded as the planning application was refused and the appeal against refusal subsequently withdrawn. Secondly, the green is excluded from the local plan. Thirdly, usage as of right exactly meets the criteria in that the green enjoys patronage by around 80% of those living within 0.2 kilometres and 17% of those living within 0.5 kilometres, which is sufficient. She states the land has no owner. Ownership reverted to the Crown after the original developer went bankrupt, and the Crown have since disclaimed ownership. Use was therefore lawful and continuous, and it is considered that the highway ends at the curb. The green was included as a public open green space in the original planning approval for the housing estate, and no part of the green is public highway. So going back to the legal test, the right to apply has already been addressed. The main issue is whether or not the legal test has been satisfied in relation to Area A. Looking at each part of the test in turn, firstly, locality or neighbourhood within a locality. The applicant has identified the locality in respect of which the application is made as the parish of Wimborne Minster, shown on the left. The neighbourhood within the locality is identified as the Highland Park housing estate, shown on the right. This is considered to be a sufficiently cohesive area to meet the legal test. Significant number of inhabitants. This map shows the addresses of those who submitted evidence of use. A significant number does not need to be a considerable or substantial number. The number of people using the land has to be sufficient to signify that the land is in general use by the local community. In this case, by those within the identified neighbourhood. The total number of qualifying users is 12 per year in 2004, rising to 20 per year in 2024. This represents approximately 4% of the population of the whole neighbourhood identified, which is sufficient. Use is as of right if it is without force, without secrecy, and without permission. The use evidenced in support of the application indicates that use of Area A was as of right. There is no evidence of any obstructions to the area or the presence of any notices prohibiting access. The user evidence supplied indicates that no actions were taken either by or on behalf of a landowner at any time to prevent use. The use evidenced in support of the application indicates that a range of activities qualify as lawful sports of pastimes, including community gatherings, gardening, children playing, and picnicking. The application was accompanied by photographs of the claimed green in use over a number of years for a variety of events. This is just a selection of the pictures supplied. The test for a continuous period of use over 20 years is satisfied on the basis of the evidence submitted, with use covering well over 20 years, counting back from the date of the application to register a green. All the users claimed use to the date when they completed the user evidence forms in June and July 2024. There is no evidence to suggest that use ceased between then and the date of the application on the 12th of July 2024. As such, it is therefore considered that all the constituent parts of the legal test are met for Area A. In conclusion, the right to apply for the registration of a green was excluded for a section of the application land. Therefore, the application can only be accepted in part. The evidence provided in support of the application demonstrates that a significant number of inhabitants have used Area A of the application land as of right for lawful sports and pastimes for in excess of 20 years. No conflicting evidence has been submitted. Therefore, it is recommended that the application be accepted in part. The proposed registration of part of the land applied for meets the legal criteria set out in the Commons Act 2006. The relevant area of land, Area A, should therefore be registered as a town or village green and the Register of Town and Village Greens updated accordingly as shown. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Vanessa. We now move to one of our public speakers. This is Jill Whitfield. Jill, you'll have, as you are most comfortable. If you're more comfortable standing, by all means do. You will have 3 minutes to speak, and my vice chair will give you the heads up at 2 minutes 30, and your time starts when you do.
Well, good morning. I'm Jill Whitfield, and I have lived in Birchdale Road, Wimborne, for 50 years, and we have used the green at the bottom of our road all that time. The green was originally part of the building stipulation when the estate was built back in 1970. The developer had to leave green areas on the estate for the enjoyment and recreation of the residents. And this green is what the developer left us. When the developer, Appins, went bankrupt in 1983, the land was offered to the Crown, who refused it. It wasn't owned by anyone, so residents kept and maintained it for their recreation and as a children's play area, which is what we still use it for today. After all these years, it's lovely to have an area for children to play. As Birchdale Road is a cul-de-sac, children can play safely. There are no other children's play areas on the estate. The nearest play area is half an hour's walk away, which children can't do by themselves, so we need this area kept for our children's safety. We also use the green for coffee mornings, parties, barbecues, and just a general social area. We have a lovely wood bench permanently on the green, which was donated by a past resident, and we've made a small garden, which we jointly look after. We have gardening sessions, which are also great fun and helps the resident to bond. It really is a lovely place to sit and enjoy the fresh air and enjoy company, or just be by yourself. Over the years, there's been many parties, some to celebrate the late Queen's various anniversaries and national events and celebrations. We have plenty of photographs of these which I have submitted. I've enjoyed the green for 50 years, and I'd like it to become somewhere that future generations can also safely enjoy it. It's a dream I have, so I'm hoping that you can make it come true. So thank you for listening to me.
Thank you very much, Jill. Officer, would you like to respond to any of those points? No. Members, do you have any technical questions that you would like to ask of the officer? I can see first out of the trap we have Councillor David Taylor, Charminster St Mary's.
Thank you, Chair. Councillor David Taylor from Charminster St Mary Ward and part of the panel today. It's purely a legal technicality, really, because I've listened to thank you very much for your explanation today, very nice. The land went into bankruptcy from the previous building in 1974. Yeah, sorry, 74. Sorry. As it went into bankruptcy, how did it become nobody's land? Because that, to me, seems as though it's gone somewhere. The Crown didn't take it. So where did it go? Does that mean did it just go into limbo? I know the years of people being on the land is in favour and things like that. It's just that I'm purely on technicality, so it doesn't come back at us. That's all. Is that okay to ask that?
So failure to revert to the Crown left the land as vacant and unregistered, if I understand that to be correct.
Could I defer to our lawyer to answer this question, please?
Phil Crowther.
If companies go insolvent and there's no one to take the assets, as in this case, then the land effectively reverts to the Crown under our fairly ancient system of land law, which means that all land is owned by the Crown ultimately. So, yeah, it reverts to the Crown, but the Crown estate that administers what's known as a sheet, which is this situation, effectively doesn't deal with it because it doesn't wish to assert any ownership rights. So it's sitting neutral. So strictly speaking, yes, there is a landowner, it's the Crown, but the Crown effectively does not want to be engaged.
Therefore, I have no quibble. Can I propose we go forward with the... Am I on? Can I propose to go forward with this application and grant it, please? In favour.
Thank you very much. I'll just see if there are any other members that have any technical questions they wish to ask at this stage. Councillor David Took, Cranbourne and Alderholt.
I think I just heard a proposal which I'd like to second. So no questions.
No outstanding questions from members. So we have a proposal which is to accept the officer recommendation and to grant this green, and it's been seconded. I think this is... No, well, as I understood it, that piece had been removed. No? It's still the application. So just to be clear, it is Area A on the screen in red, not the curtilage at the end of the road, Section B.
Just to clarify, my proposal is Area A to become the green and to be proposed to go forward for acceptance of the people.
Which is what I second.
Excellent. Thank you very much. So in the usual way, could we show with a show of hands those in support of the proposal? That's unanimous. Thank you very much. It's not often, Mrs. Whitfield, that we can say we make dreams come true, but that would appear to be what's happened today. And how prescient was the training on greens for parishes and towns most recently. I think this is a wonderful use of space that the community has here. It ticks so many boxes with regards to social isolation, community cohesion, and I wish you very many years of celebrating on that space in the way that you have over so many previously. So that is the application VG1 2024, land at Birchdale Road, Wimborne, granted. Are there any urgent items? No urgent items of business, and any exempt business? No exempt business. So thank you very much to supporting officers, legal, planning, members for attending today, democratic services. Mrs. Whitfield, for your representation, thank you, and my vice chair. Meeting is closed at 10:25. Thank you.